The sound of a shattering champagne flute echoed through Reid's kitchen, the delicate glass exploding across the floor like a miniature catastrophe, much like her morning so far. Emma closed her eyes briefly, drawing in a deep breath as she surveyed the damage. This high-profile baby shower booking could make or break her fledgling catering business, and she was already running behind schedule. "Not today," she muttered, quickly sweeping up the glittering shards. Emma had spent 3 years building Sweet Provisions from a humble home kitchen operation into a respected small catering company. At 32, she'd finally found her calling after years of bouncing between administrative jobs that never quite fit. Her grandmother's recipes and her own modern twists had earned her a growing reputation in the local food scene, but landing the Winters family baby shower was her biggest opportunity yet. The referral had come through a mutual acquaintance, and the mother-to-be Lily Winters had been charmed by Emma's personalized approach during their consultation. The shower was being held at the Winters family estate, a sprawling property in the city's most exclusive neighborhood. 4 hours later, Emma and her 2 assistants, Marco and Jenna, arrived at the imposing iron gates of the estate. As they wound up the tree-lined driveway, Emma's confidence wavered slightly at the sight of the mansion ahead, a modern architectural masterpiece of glass, stone, and understated elegance. "Remember," she reminded her team as they pulled up to the service entrance, "this could lead to more high-end clients if we nail it today." As Emma directed the unloading of their catering van, she failed to notice the tall figure watching from the second-floor window. Alex Winters stood with his hands in his pockets, observing the commotion below with mild interest. At 36, he'd grown accustomed to strangers invading his family home for various social events, but something about the woman confidently directing her small team caught his attention. Alex hadn't planned to attend his sister's baby shower, considering such gatherings firmly in the realm of women's events. But he'd promised Lily he'd make an appearance before retreating to his home office to deal with a brewing crisis at Winters Shipping, the international logistics company he'd transformed into an industry giant over the past decade. Emma was arranging an elaborate display of pastries when she felt someone's presence behind her. Turning, she found herself looking way up into the most piercing blue eyes she'd ever seen. The man standing before her exuded quiet authority, from his tailored casual clothes to his confident stance. "Those look incredible," he said, nodding at her array of miniature tarts topped with edible flowers. Emma smiled professionally, though something about his intense gaze made her heart beat a little faster. "Thank you. They're lavender honey tartlets with candied rose petals. May I?" he asked, reaching for one. "The guest of honor gets first dibs," Emma replied with gentle firmness. "House rules." A smile tugged at his lips. "Even if I live in the house." Emma felt her cheeks warm. "You must be Lily's husband then. I'm Reid, the caterer." The man's smile widened. "Not her husband, her brother, Alex Winters." "And you," he said, picking up a tartlet despite her protest, "have just made this event much more interesting." Before Emma could respond, he took a bite and his eyes widened. "This is extraordinary. My grandmother's recipe," Emma admitted, with a few modern touches. Alex opened his mouth to say something more when Lily's voice called out from across the room. "Alex, you actually showed up." A visibly pregnant woman approached, her face glowing with happiness as she hugged her brother. The family resemblance was unmistakable, the same striking blue eyes and warm smile. "I promised, didn't I?" Alex replied, kissing his sister's cheek. "Besides, I couldn't miss trying the food I've been hearing about for weeks." Emma watched their interaction, noting the protective way Alex kept his hand on his sister's back. There was something endearing about this clearly powerful man doting on his pregnant sister. "Emma, I see you've met my workaholic brother," Lily said with a fond eye roll. "Don't let him steal all the desserts. He has a terrible sweet tooth." "I'll keep an eye on him," Emma promised with a smile. Throughout the afternoon, Emma noticed Alex watching her, Whenever their eyes met, he'd hold her gaze for a beat too long before looking away. Despite her best professional intentions, Emma found herself unusually aware of his movements around the room. As the event progressed, Emma overheard snippets of conversation about Alex, how he rarely attended social functions, how dedicated he was to his work, how protective he'd always been of his younger sister. What nobody mentioned, and what Emma didn't know, was exactly what Alex did for a living. The shower was in full swing when a minor disaster struck. One of the servers accidentally bumped into the dessert table, sending a tower of macarons tumbling. Emma rushed over, already calculating how to salvage the situation, when Alex appeared beside her. "Let me help," he said, kneeling down to gather the scattered cookies. "You don't need to do that," Emma protested. "You're a guest." "Technically, I'm family, not a guest," he countered, "and I've never been good at standing around when there's a problem to solve." They worked side by side, and Emma was struck by how this man, clearly accustomed to luxury, didn't hesitate to get on his hands and knees to help her. "Most of these are still perfect," he observed, carefully placing salvageable macarons on the tray Emma held. "The perks of sturdy cookies," Emma replied. "In catering, you learn to plan for disasters." "A philosophy I share in my own business," Alex said. "Always have contingencies." Their hands brushed as they reached for the same macaron, and Emma felt a surprising jolt of electricity. Alex's eyes darkened slightly as he looked at her, and for a moment, the busy room around them seemed to fade. The moment was broken when Lily called out for Alex to join a group photo. He stood reluctantly, dusting off his knees. "Save me a coffee macaron," he asked with a smile that transformed his serious face. "I'll set one aside," Emma promised, watching him walk away. Later, as the party wound down and guests began departing, Emma supervised the cleanup while mentally calculating the event as a resounding success. Several guests had requested her business cards, and Lily had effusively praised every dish. Emma was packing the last of her equipment when Alex approached, carrying a small plate with the promised coffee macaron. "Thought you might like one too," he said, offering it to her. "You've been working non-stop." Emma accepted it gratefully. "Thank you, that's thoughtful. My sister tells me you started your business from scratch," he said, leaning against the counter. "That's impressive." "It's been a labor of love," Emma admitted. "Some days I wonder what I was thinking, but then there are days like today that make it all worthwhile." "I know the feeling," Alex nodded. "Building something meaningful always comes with sacrifice." They fell into easy conversation as Emma continued her work, and she found herself enjoying his company more than she should with a client's family member. "I should let you finish up," Alex said finally, checking his watch. "But I have a proposition for you." Emma raised an eyebrow, suddenly wary, reading her expression. Alex quickly clarified, "A business proposition. My company has an important client dinner next week. Our usual caterer fell through. After tasting your food today, I'd like to hire you." Relief and excitement mingled as Emma considered the opportunity. "What kind of event are we talking about?" "Dinner for 20 at my corporate headquarters. Very important international clients. The budget would be..." He named a figure that made Emma's eyes widen. "That's very generous," she said, recovering her composure. "I believe in paying for quality," Alex replied simply. "Can you do it?" "Absolutely," Emma nodded, professional pride kicking in. "I'll need details about dietary restrictions, preferences. I'll have my assistant email you everything," Alex interrupted, pulling out his phone. "Can I get your contact information?" As Emma recited her number and email, she couldn't help wondering what kind of business Alex ran that could afford such extravagant catering budgets. Later that night, after all the equipment had been returned to her small commercial kitchen and her staff sent home, Emma sat at her desk reviewing the day's success. Her phone pinged with an email notification. To her surprise, it wasn't from Alex's assistant but from Alex himself, with detailed information about the upcoming corporate dinner. The email signature caught her eye. Alexander Winters, Chief Executive Officer, Winters Global Logistics and Shipping. Emma sat back, stunned. She'd just spent the afternoon chatting with and occasionally flirting with the CEO of one of the largest shipping companies in the country. A quick internet search confirmed her suspicions. Alexander Winters was a shipping magnate who had transformed his family's regional business into an international powerhouse with a personal net worth in the hundreds of millions, and she'd denied him a tartlet. 5 days later, Emma stood in the gleaming lobby of Winters' global headquarters, supervising as her team set up for the important client dinner. The space was impressive, all polished marble and steel, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering panoramic city views. "Miss Reid," a familiar voice called. Alex strode toward her, looking every inch the powerful CEO in a perfectly tailored dark suit. "Everything to your satisfaction? The facilities are excellent," Emma replied professionally, trying not to notice how the suit emphasized his broad shoulders. "We'll be ready to serve at 7 as requested." "I never doubted it," Alex said with a smile. "Would you like a quick tour while your team finishes setting up?" Before Emma could politely decline, Alex's assistant appeared with an urgent message. Emma watched as his expression shifted, CEO mode fully engaged as he processed whatever information he was receiving. "I'm sorry," he said to Emma, genuine regret in his eyes. "Duty calls. Rain, check on that tour, of course," she nodded, relieved yet oddly disappointed. The dinner proceeded flawlessly. Emma's menu of sophisticated yet approachable dishes impressed the international clients, and she overheard several complimenting Alex on the food. Throughout the evening, she caught Alex watching her from across the room, his gaze thoughtful. As the event concluded and the clients departed, Emma directed her staff in the cleanup process. She was checking inventory when she sensed someone behind her. "You have a gift," Alex said quietly. Emma turned to find him leaning against the doorframe, his tie loosened and jacket removed. Despite the late hour, he looked energized. The dinner was a success. "Beyond expectations," he confirmed. "Your food played a significant role in that. You helped me close a $50 million deal tonight." Emma's eyes widened. "Well, I'm glad the Chilean sea base was persuasive." Alex laughed, a rich, genuine sound that transformed his face. "It was your entire approach, sophisticated but unpretentious, exactly what these particular clients respond to." "Just doing my job," Emma said modestly. "Can I offer you a drink to celebrate?" Alex gestured toward his office. Emma hesitated, aware of the remaining cleanup. "I should help my team finish." "Your team left 10 minutes ago," Alex informed her with a slight smile. "You were so focused on inventory you didn't notice when I told them I'd ensure you got home safely." Emma looked around, realizing he was right. "That was presumptuous of you." "It was," he agreed without apology. "One of the benefits of being CEO, sometimes I make executive decisions. Just one drink, Emma, then I'll have my driver take you home." Against her better judgment, Emma found herself following Alex to his corner office. The space was impressive, but less ostentatious than she'd expected, tastefully decorated with nautical elements that nodded to the shipping industry without being cliché. Alex poured 2 glasses of whiskey from a crystal decanter, handing one to Emma before sitting not behind his desk but in a leather chair adjacent to hers. "To successful partnerships," he toasted. Emma sipped the expensive whiskey, enjoying the complex flavors. "This is good." "It should be," Alex said wryly. "It costs more than my first car." They fell into conversation easily, discussing food, business philosophies, and eventually personal histories. Emma learned that Alex had taken over the family business when his father became ill 10 years ago, transforming it from a regional shipping company to a global logistics empire. "What about you?" he asked. "How does someone with your talent end up in catering rather than running a restaurant?" "I like the variety," Emma explained. "Each event is different, and honestly, restaurant hours would kill me. This way I can choose my projects." "Smart business model," Alex nodded appreciatively. You're selective about clients, becoming more so as my reputation grows, Emma admitted. Though I'm not quite at the point where I can turn down lucrative opportunities. Like baby showers for strangers. Like baby showers for strangers with brothers who offer even more lucrative corporate jobs, she corrected with a smile. Alex's expression turned thoughtful. What if I offered you an ongoing contract, exclusive catering for all winter's global corporate events? Emma nearly choked on her whiskey. That's substantial, but I'm not sure exclusivity works for my business model. I value my independence. Alex studied her for a moment. Independence is important to you. It is, Emma confirmed. I've worked for others before. Building something that's completely mine matters. I respect that, Alex said, surprising her. The contract offer stands without exclusivity then. We host at least 2 major events monthly. Consider us a regular client, not an owner. The distinction meant something, and Emma found herself appreciating his quick understanding of her concerns. I'll have my lawyer review any contract you send over, she said professionally. Of course. Alex's eyes crinkled with amusement. Do you have a lawyer? Not yet, Emma admitted with a laugh. But I'll find one before signing anything with Winters Global. Wise decision, Alex said, standing to refill their glasses. Never sign anything without proper review, especially with sharks like me. Are you a shark, Alex Winters? Emma asked, feeling the whiskey's warmth spreading through her. He turned, regarding her with sudden intensity. In business, when necessary, in personal matters, his gaze softened. I prefer to think I'm more straightforward. Straightforward how? Emma found herself asking. Alex set down his glass. Straightforward enough to tell you I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since Lily's shower. Straightforward enough to admit that while the business opportunity is genuine, I also wanted an excuse to see you again. Emma's breath caught. That's very straightforward indeed. Too much, he asked, a rare uncertainty crossing his face. No, Emma replied honestly, just unexpected. Alex moved closer, his expression serious. I'd like to see you again, Emma, not for business, for dinner perhaps, just the 2 of us with you not working. Emma considered his offer, acutely aware of how different their worlds were. You know I'm not. I don't move in your social circles. I'm a small business owner who still does her own dishes most nights. And I'm a man who appreciates authenticity more than social standing, Alex countered. But if you're not interested… I didn't say that, Emma interrupted. I just want to be clear about reality. Alex smiled slowly. Reality is I find you fascinating, the rest is just details. 2 days later, Emma found herself being escorted to a private dining room at Casalini's, the city's most exclusive Italian restaurant. Alex was already waiting, rising as she entered. You look beautiful, he said simply. Emma had stressed over her outfit, finally settling on a forest green dress that was the most expensive item in her wardrobe. Alex's appreciative gaze made the investment worthwhile. This place is impossible to get into, Emma commented as they were seated. I've tried to book for clients before. The owner's son was having trouble with overseas shipping regulations, Alex explained with a casual shrug. I helped sort it out. Their conversation flowed effortlessly throughout dinner. Emma found herself captivated by Alex's intelligence and unexpected sense of humor, while he seemed genuinely interested in her stories about building her business from nothing. What made you decide to take over your family company? Emma asked as they shared a tiramisu. Was it always the plan? Alex's expression grew contemplative. Not originally. I was working in investment banking when my father had his first heart attack. I came back temporarily to help stabilize things, but then, you found your calling, Emma suggested. More like I found purpose, Alex corrected. Banking made me rich, but shipping connects the world. There's something satisfying about knowing we help move essential goods across oceans. His passion was evident, and Emma found herself seeing beyond the powerful CEO to the man who cared deeply about creating something meaningful. As weeks passed, Emma and Alex continued seeing each other. He introduced her to the world of symphony galas and charity auctions, while she showed him hidden food markets and hole-in-the-wall restaurants with extraordinary cuisine. Their different backgrounds created an intriguing balance rather than a barrier. Emma's business was flourishing with the Winters global contract, though she insisted on maintaining other clients to preserve her independence. Alex respected her determination, often asking about her other events with genuine interest. One evening, after Emma had catered a small dinner at his penthouse for Lily and her husband, they stood on Alex's balcony overlooking the city lights. "I have something to tell you," Alex said, his tone uncharacteristically hesitant. Emma turned to him, suddenly anxious. "That sounds serious." "It is," he admitted. "I've been offered an opportunity to expand Winters Global into Asian markets. It would be transformative for the company." "That's wonderful," Emma said sincerely. "Isn't it?" Alex took her hands. "It would require me to spend significant time in Singapore, at least 6 months establishing the operation." Emma's heart sank. After 3 months of dating, she'd grown deeply attached to Alex, though neither had yet put their feelings into words. "When would you leave?" she asked quietly. "That's what I wanted to discuss with you," Alex said. "I'm considering declining the opportunity." Emma stared at him in shock. "You can't do that. This sounds like exactly what you've been working toward." "It is," Alex agreed. "But I've realized something important in these past months. Success means nothing if you don't have someone to share it with." "Alex, let me finish," he said gently. "All my life, I've put business first. When my father got sick, when opportunities arose, when relationships became complicated, the company always came first." He looked out at the city before meeting her eyes again. "Then you denied me a tartlet at my sister's baby shower, and somehow everything shifted." Emma laughed despite the seriousness of the moment. "That's quite a turning point." "It was," Alex insisted. "You were the first person in years who didn't defer to me, who wasn't impressed by my position, who treated me like a normal person trying to steal desserts." He pulled her closer. "I fell in love with you, Emma Reid. Not gradually or reasonably, but all at once and completely inconveniently." Emma's heart soared at his words. "You're in love with me," desperately, Alex confirmed, "which is why I'm considering turning down Singapore." "No," Emma said firmly, "that's not an option." Alex looked surprised. "It's not. You can't give up this opportunity," Emma explained. "It matters too much to you and to your company." "You matter more," Alex insisted. Emma took a deep breath, gathering her courage. "What if there's another option? What if I came with you? Not permanently, but maybe I could split my time. My team could handle local events here while I explore opportunities in Singapore." Alex's expression transformed with hope. "You do that. What about your independence, your business?" "I've learned something these past months too," Emma said softly. "Independence doesn't have to mean being alone. Sometimes the bravest thing is letting someone else into your carefully built world." She reached up to touch his face. "I love you too, Alex, enough to try something terrifying and new." Alex pulled her into his arms, kissing her with an intensity that left her breathless. "You're extraordinary, Emma Reid. We'll need to figure out the details," she cautioned when they broke apart. "My business, your schedule, we will," Alex assured her. "Together." 4 months later, Emma stood in the kitchen of Alex's Singapore apartment, preparing dinner while he finished a conference call in the next room. Their arrangement had worked better than either expected, Emma splitting her time between Singapore and home, where her newly expanded team handled local events. Unexpectedly, Singapore had presented exciting opportunities for Emma's business. She'd secured contracts with several international hotels after Alex had innocently mentioned her talents at a business dinner. Her independence remained intact, but her world had expanded in ways she never imagined. Alex appeared in the doorway, watching her with obvious affection. "Something smells amazing." "Local inspiration," Emma explained, gesturing to the spices she'd discovered at a nearby market. "How was your call?" "Productive," Alex said, coming to wrap his arms around her from behind. "The Asian expansion is exceeding projections." "Congratulations," Emma said, leaning back against him. "I told you it was the right decision." "The business was the right decision," Alex corrected, turning her to face him, "but bringing you was the best decision." He reached into his pocket, suddenly looking uncharacteristically nervous. "Which brings me to a question I've been wanting to ask." Emma's heart skipped as he pulled out a small velvet box. "I had an elaborate plan involving a private dinner cruise and fireworks," Alex admitted with a rueful smile. "But standing here in our kitchen, watching you create something wonderful out of local ingredients we found together, it feels right to ask you now, in this moment that represents everything I love about us." He opened the box, revealing a stunning emerald ring surrounded by diamonds. "We've built something remarkable together, Emma. Two independent lives that are somehow better when shared. Will you marry me?" Emma felt tears welling in her eyes. "Yes," she whispered. "Absolutely yes." Alex slipped the ring onto her finger, then lifted her into a spinning embrace that made her laugh with pure joy. "Lily's going to be thrilled," Alex said as he set her down. "She's been not so subtly asking when I was going to lock down her favorite caterer." Emma laughed. "Your sister has been texting me weekly for updates. I think she takes credit for our entire relationship." "Well, her baby shower did bring us together," Alex conceded. "Speaking of which," Emma said, suddenly remembering, "Lily sent a video today. The baby took his first steps." Alex smiled, his expression softening. "I can't wait to be an uncle who's actually present, not just sending expensive gifts from overseas." "We'll make it work," Emma promised. "Both our businesses, both our families, everything that matters." Later that night, as they stood on their balcony overlooking Singapore's dazzling skyline, Emma marveled at the journey that had brought her here. From a shattered champagne flute on a stressful morning to standing beside the man she loved on the other side of the world, ring glittering on her finger. "What are you thinking?" Alex asked, arms wrapped around her. "That sometimes the best things start with disaster," Emma replied, smiling up at him. "A broken glass, a fallen macaron tower." "A stolen tartlet," Alex added with a grin. "Best theft of my life." "It wasn't theft," Emma corrected primly. "I eventually gave you permission." "True," Alex agreed, pressing a kiss to her temple. "You've always made me work for the sweetest rewards." Emma turned in his arms, rising on her toes to kiss him properly. "And I always will." 1 year later, Emma stood in the kitchen of their renovated historic home, supervising final preparations for yet another celebration. This time, it wasn't a client event but their first wedding anniversary party, with family and friends gathered in their garden. Sweet Provisions had grown into an international brand, with Emma maintaining creative control while her expanded team handled daily operations. Alex had successfully established Winters Global's Asian headquarters and returned home, though they still traveled frequently between continents. "Need any help?" Alex asked, appearing beside her as she arranged a platter of the now famous lavender honey tartlets. "I think we've got it covered," Emma replied, nodding toward her efficient team. "Though you could test this for me." She offered him a tartlet. Alex took a bite, closing his eyes appreciatively. "Still extraordinary, just like the woman who makes them." "Flatterer," Emma said with a smile. "Realist," Alex corrected, wrapping an arm around her waist. "Have I told you today how much I love you?" "Only twice," Emma teased. "You're slacking." Alex's expression turned serious. "Then let me be clear. Loving you has been the greatest adventure of my life, Emma Winters. Better than any business deal, more satisfying than any corporate achievement. Even the Singapore expansion?" Emma asked with mock skepticism. "Even that," Alex confirmed solemnly before breaking into a smile. "Though it's a close second, since it gave me the chance to prove I could never live without you." Emma leaned into his embrace, savoring the moment as their guests mingled in the garden beyond. From a reluctant caterer at a baby shower to the love of a lifetime, sometimes the most unexpected ingredients created the most perfect recipe. "I love you too," she whispered. "Now and always." Alex kissed her softly before reaching for another tartlet. This time, Emma didn't stop him. Some rules, she'd learned, were made to be broken, especially when breaking them led to the sweetest outcome of all.